Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the October 16th business meeting of the Daytona Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. That is our CRA. We're delighted to have each of you with us. At this time, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call?
Commissioner Cantu.
Here.
Commissioner Henry.
Present.
Commissioner Reed.
Here.
Commissioner Paris.
Here.
Commissioner Strickland.
Here.
Commissioner May. Mayor Derek L. Henry.
Here. We will now have our invocation led by Commissioner Henry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, which would be led by Commissioner May, but we'll ask Commissioner Strickland. Please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Bow our heads, please. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for waking up and finding that all was well and everyone was here with us. We know that many communities were not as fortunate. We thank you today for everyone who's gathered here. We ask and pray that you continue to bless us, continue to bless our city, continue to look over us, continue to guide us and watch over us, continue to be with us as we recoup from this storm. In Jesus' name, this is the prayer we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Keep saying play ball.
We'll now move on to item 4, which is approval of the minutes. Approval of the minutes of the September 18th, 2024 meeting of the Community Redevelopment Agency.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. Now move on to our agenda approval. If there are any changes, our city manager will address them.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, there are no changes to the agenda for the CRA.
Motion to accept the agenda.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, let it be denoted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay. We're going to move on to item 6, which is our administrative items. Item 6A is redevelopment and neighborhood services, approval of a funding request through the 0% interest loan. This is a resolution. A resolution approving the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $50,000 in tax increment funds from the Main Street redevelopment area for renovation of building located at 614 Main Street to replace all windows through the 0% interest loan commercial improvement incentive program, authorizing the mayor as the CRA chair to execute documents necessary to disperse the funds and providing an effective date.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have any questions or comments?
I have no speakers for this.
No
item.
speakers. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0.
We're going to move on to item 6B. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution into the record, and then I'm going to introduce Michelle Tolliver from the Redevelopment Department. So item 6B is the redevelopment and neighborhood services, approve of expenditure of CRA funds. This is a resolution approving the purchase of 3 adjoining parcels land located at the southwest corner of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard and Walnut Street at a total purchase price of $314,000, plus closing costs and broker fees estimated at $24,000, subject to conditions. Approving contracts with the owners of the parcels, providing for these properties purchased subject to the standard terms and conditions, including due diligence provisions, authorizing the city manager to execute the contracts and exercise the city's due diligence rights as necessary or prudent. Further authorization of the city manager to close on these purchases or to terminate them in accordance with the contract provisions in the city's best interest, and providing an effective date.
We have a motion and a second. Mr.
Yes.
Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, these properties consist of properties that have been part of your master plan for the Midtown area for the CRA, and Michelle Tolliver will make a presentation that shows what the ideas are for that, to see if you all would like to move forward with the purchase of these properties as well as the future development. And she will do this for the next item as well, if you all decide to move forward.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Michelle Tolliver. I am the Redevelopment Project Manager for Midtown. And I must apologize, I'm a little bit more exhausted than I normally am. I have a city manager who doesn't care about sleep. He doesn't even care about storms. He cares about taking care of the residents of our city as well as our visitors. But I am a little bit more tired than I normally am, so if I stumble, please forgive me.
We understand.
So this presentation is in reference to CRA item 6B. This is the aerial of the proposed purchases. On your left, the former Campbell Hotel and parking lot. And then on your right is the Lloyd vacant lot. And I'll explain why, I guess right now. The reason why we are purchasing the 2 parcels and then a separate parcel is because the building itself encroaches upon the parking lot as well as the vacant lot. So in order to address that encroachment, we went after the vacant lot to the east to deal with that, to try to close on it if that's the will of the commission. The next slide, I'm going to give you a little history on the property. The Campbell Hotel, also known as the Ingram Building, was one of the few lodging options for African Americans in Daytona Beach. The hotel became an essential part of the local Black community, serving as a gathering place for African American tourists, businessmen, and entertainers during the Jim Crow era. Over the years, the Campbell Hotel hosted many prominent figures, like musicians, civil rights leaders, and athletes, including the Jackie Robinson. It was part of the Chitlin Circuit and network of venues that catered to Black entertainers. The Campbell Hotel also hosted the Stardust nightclub, where Dizzy Gillespie and other notable musicians performed. And one thing I did not put on the slide is that this location is also a part of our Black Heritage Trail. The Midtown established goals and objectives. Goals: assemble property necessary to carry out the redevelopment plan. The next goal: encourage development that increase employment and the tax base. Next goal is to increase regional investment in the area. And the last one is to collaborate with private partners. The objectives: create a new development project that may include retail, offices, and housing to help create a vibrant area, which I should have said, that I will call a downtown Midtown. The next slide is the property surrounding the former Campbell Hotel, and the properties included in this item is around neighborhoods such as commercial and residential properties. Also, it is near our newly renovated Daisy Stocking Park to the south of the properties. This slide shows the current zoning, RDM2, redevelopment, Midtown Neighborhood Center, mixed use. And as you can see, the properties to the left are the two under one contract, the building as well as the parking lot, and then the one to the right is the vacant parcel on the corner of Walnut and Dr. Bethune Boulevard. All right, our proposed development options include a mixed use, and I'll be presenting to you two different mixed use options with retail and residential. And before I move to the next slide, I wanted to share with you that based on the condition of the building, our plan is to demolish it. And I will show you two options. The first one is a proposed new building. This is an aerial view of the first one. You'll notice that this has a smaller footprint. It's more in line with the current building footprint. It's a small footprint with the parking to the west. The next slide shows the interior proposed space on the first floor. This concept shows three different retail spaces with a lobby area, an elevator equipment room, mechanical and electrical rooms on the first floor. And you'll notice the retail spaces on the right have outdoor seating. We have two spaces up front toward the street that have approximately 820 square feet, and the one to the rear has approximately 1,040 square feet. The next slide. This is a layout of all three floors, with the first floor the way I just explained it. The second floor, you have 5 studio units, an opening to the first floor, a patio to the left, and an elevator equipment, and a laundry room. And then on the third floor, you have two bedroom units, two bedroom units, a laundry room, an elevator with the elevator equipment room, again with the opening to the first floor. The next slide is the exterior elevations, and at the top you see the elevation from looking from Bethune Boulevard to the south. The east view and the west view is on the second, and then there is a south view at the bottom. And then the next exterior elevations are just an aerial view and a street view on your left side from the corner as you're looking at the property from the corner. And then on the right side, it's the parking lot view from the street view as well as an aerial view. And you'll notice the decking on the second floor, the outside deck. The next slide shows another option with a larger footprint of the building, and your parking area is of course smaller. The next view is the interior of the first floor layout with retail spaces, and if you'll notice on this one, you do have a hard wall on the left side of the diagram that shows retail space. And then you'll notice on the right-hand side, it's an open concept for a food court option with outdoor seating. And again, you have the opening for the lobby to your left. And then you have the elevator equipment room, mechanical, electrical, and you also have two options to the rear of the building where you can have retail space and or office space. The next slide, this layout shows 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, let me get my numbers right. Yes, 4 levels. And it shows again the space that I just described on the first floor. And then the second floor has 2 bedroom, 1 bath units at the corners. I wish I could zoom in, but trust me when I say that. And then you have 2 one-bedroom units with a street view. And then you have 2 one-bedroom units, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. And then you have a third one-bedroom unit to the rear on the corner. And then you have 2 studio units with ADA accommodations. And then on the 3rd floor, you have two bedroom, 1 bath with balconies on the corners. And then you have 2 one-bedrooms with street views, and those have balconies as well. And then you have 1 bedroom at the back corner with a balcony. And then you have 2 of the studio units in the middle. And of course, your opening as well as your elevator on that floor. And then on this drawing, you also see a roof concept. The next slide. This is exterior elevations. Looking again, the top one is a north view, and then the 2 in the middle are east views and west views, and then the one at the bottom is the south view. And then the next slide shows again street view and aerial view at the corner, and those views are on your left. And then your street view and your aerial view from the parking lot is on your right. And that concludes my presentation. And if you all would give me some feedback, I'd appreciate that.
We have speakers. Yes, sir. All right, do we have any feedback at this time? Okay, we'll hear from the speakers and then if we have feedback.
Thank you.
But, just kind of wow.
Our first speaker is John Nicholson, and on deck is Sandy Murphy.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview Avenue. I like and dislike it. I dislike it because we're losing an historic building. All right, I don't know what the interior is. I know that there was a fire, and with fire, you have all kinds of problems. It may or may not be able to be rehabbed. I know we went with the round robin with the rec center for years, and Jim just let it die, okay? So the idea of taking it down and rebuilding something larger and more useful has its advantages, all right? The problem with Midtown, downtown, and where I live on Beachside is that we've lost all our populations. All of them are the lowest point of population in the city. Midtown needs bodies. It needs people living there to have a thriving community. The businesses won't survive the mayor dropping by for an ice cream cone with his kid every 2 weeks. A business can't survive that way. It needs people going every single day. And rehabbing it in this fashion, it also presents what could be in the area and get other people interested. So all in all, I would say go ahead with the 4-story building with the feature on top. Secondly, I'd like to reiterate that the CRAs are coming to a close. It's like 12 years and they'll vanish. There is no thought about renewing them again. I think it's 45 years. They're set for 25, and now we're way past it. So I doubt that the county or the state would allow us to extend them. So we need to get these things done. We need to get them done yesterday. We went whole hog the first couple of years on Beachside. We got 7 nice buildings out of it. Then we got a commissioner who says, oh, that's public money. We don't want to spend public money. And we voted down 9 buildings on Beachside from the commission. 9. So I'm asking you to start RFP all those vacant properties on Beachside. Get bodies there to buy the properties, develop the properties, no matter what the TIF fund we have to give them. I know we wanted to bring it down. I think the Marriott got 100%. We don't want to do that. But whatever it takes to get them to build, we need to get them to build. We have 7 properties on both sides of Main Street, sitting there empty for over 20 years. They could be developed. And what's happening with the Corbin building? Gone over a year. So we need to get these things done yesterday. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sandy Murphy, and on deck is Ann Ruby.
Good evening, Sandy Murphy, 136 Park Avenue. About the Campbell Hotel, the first thing I would say is it is about time. This is something that we have been looking at since forever, but the last city manager didn't give us any assistance towards getting it preserved. And now we're at the sad point where we have a cultural landmark in Black history for Daytona Beach that sounds as if it's not able to be preserved. Activating that space again would be very important. It's a central location. You can have, with the residential and the commercial, you can get a lot more activity on the street, and that is what the current business owners would like to see. And that's what we have had in our plan for quite a while. It will increase the tax base. It's hard to argue with that. And it's adjacent to Daisy Stocking, which is a showplace renovation. And so that really amps up that entire area. 2 things I would like to see. One, I would like to see this be part of our mural program, where we include a mural that commemorates the musicians and performers who were known for their time at the Campbell Hotel. Second, I want to save that neon sign, and it should be part of the renovation to give that little touch of history, to make people ask themselves, what is it? You know, what did this mean? What happened here? So I think it would be a valuable piece to incorporate. So overall, I'm very much in favor of it. I'm just sorry it couldn't happen a little sooner.
Thank you.
And that is my final speaker on this item. She wants to speak on the next item.
All right. Okay, do we have questions or comments from the commission?
I have to agree with John and with Sandy. I had already asked about the sign, because that was one of the commitments we made to the previous owner prior to the fire, that we would save that neon sign. So that's definitely something I'd like to see. I like the idea about the mural. Having been the Chitlin Circus, I know Mrs. Hayes is here, and I know that was something that she wanted to do on her building for local musicians. So that would just tie right in, since her building's just on the next block over. It's a long time coming. I like the idea of the name Downtown Midtown, because that's what I envisioned for Midtown, that liveliness that was when our parents were there. You know, somewhere for those BCU students to go, to have Wi-Fi sidewalks, for it to be thriving all the time, and not just when it's special events, but somewhere for folks to go all the time with their families, and for our visitors to go as well.
Yeah. All right.
So since I shared that part of the area with Commissioner Reed, I like the concept you said. What I would like to add is that just like downtown Beach Street was shown Lake Eola, and we were told that if we have a Lake Eola concept where we have parks and people walking, people living, that it would give us economic impact to the downtown core. I'm hoping that this type of project will have the same effect, since the park is so close, that living there would be a fantastic event. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. There are no other comments. We'll have a motion, have a second. All those in favor, let it be noted by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 7-0. Let the record reflect that Commissioner May has joined us.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 6C. It's a redevelopment and neighborhood services. Approve expenditure of CRA funds for the purchase of 4 adjacent parcels. This is a resolution. A resolution approving the expenditure of tax increment funds in an amount of up to $871,000 from the GPM 2023 Midtown CRA loan for the purchase of 4 adjacent parcels consisting of 1.21 acres located in the southwest corner of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard and DeSoto Street, and providing an effective date.
Did you, okay, got a motion, got a second. Did you need something?
Do I have to be read into the record since I was late? Do I have to be? Okay,
No.
perfect, thanks.
No.
Okay, all right.
And then we're going to have Michelle Tolliver with a presentation.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. This item has not been nice to us in terms of gathering information. The hurricane has really put a damper in me providing some background information on this in terms of concepts. So this one is a little bit more incomplete in terms of the vision that we want you to see. But based on the background information that I provided in the agenda summary, which I'm going to point out. Did I say my name? I'm Michelle Tolliver. I'm the redevelopment project manager for Midtown. I might as well get used to this because once you all approve these, the real work begins. So I might as well stop acting like I'm tired and just do my job. So before I get started in the presentation, I wanted to mention for those who are listening, watching, as well as for the pleasure of the commission, there is a consideration and background information that I wanted to highlight because this particular presentation does not have as much flavor. And I must give kudos to my co-worker, Phoebe Fuquay, in the first presentation. She really did a good job in preparing and I guess, pigeonholing the architect to get the job done. But the hurricane kind of threw us with this one. But anyway, I want to give some background. The 4 parcels identified are under separate ownership. 2 of the parcels are owned by ING Investor Group. I'm not ready, guys. Let me do the driving. Thank you. The 4 parcels identified are under separate ownership. The two of the parcels are owned by ING Investor Group, Inc., ING, and the other 2 parcels are owned by Irvin White. Irvin White is the CEO of ING. Even though the 2 owners are related, 2 separate contracts needed to be created to provide for the purchases. And it goes on to give the breakdown of the commercial property, the single-family property. ING parcels are both improved. The first parcel is improved with a concrete block, 2-story mixed-use building consisting of 3 retail storefront units and a rear storage mechanical room on the first floor. The second floor contains 4 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 2 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartments, and 1 efficiency apartment, for a total of 7 apartments. All of the units, commercial and residential, are in essentially shell condition. Of the 3 retail units, 1 is a former laundromat and includes all the plumbing and electrical infrastructure, including a raised slab. In addition, the subject parcel contains a single-story commercial building consisting of 1,406 square feet. The building was formerly used as a retail casket store, sales store. The second parcel is improved with a single-family house that has 5 bedrooms and 1 full bath and a half. Staff is proposing that the house be demolished to accommodate a 10-unit townhouse development. The purchase price for the ING parcel is $745,000. In addition, ING contract provides for the city to convey 2 undeveloped parcels, vacant parcels located elsewhere in the city. The White contract has 2 vacant lots. The White parcel are vacant lots, I said that. The purchase price of the 2 parcels is $100,000. In addition, the ING contract provides for the city to convey 2 undeveloped vacant parcels located elsewhere. Total purchase price and conveyance. The total asking price for the parcel was $1.4 million. The appraised value is $757,000. It's attached. and staff negotiated the purchase price of $845,000 in addition to the conveyance of the 4 city-owned vacant lots. The 4 city-owned vacant lots have a value of $100,000. Staff has set aside $26,000 for closing costs and a total cash price of $871,000. So the clerk's office handed out a single sheet with the lots. The first 2 on the front are for ING, and on the back are the 2 that the city is going to convey to White. And I wanted to provide those, and they are not located in the CRA. As the information stated, they are elsewhere within the city. So to move forward with this presentation, this PowerPoint, this is for CRA item C6C. And you can see on this aerial the proposed location for the purchases of those properties, vacant as well as with the structure on them. 875 Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard, 236 DeSoto, 240 DeSoto, which is the vacant lot, and then there's a vacant lot behind the structure on Dr. Bethune Boulevard. The current condition of the property, get myself, the property at 875 Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune Boulevard is an unoccupied mixed-use building. The first floor has commercial retail space, second floor has 1 and 2 bedroom units, and the adjacent structure to the west is the former casket store that is also unoccupied. And then the current condition of the additional properties, the one at 240 DeSoto Street is a vacant lot, and there is a second vacant lot to the back of this lot. And then the last property is at 236 DeSoto Street, and it's a single-family home, and the tenants that will vacate prior to closing. The next slide again repeats our Midtown redevelopment established goals and objectives. First goal is to assemble property necessary to carry out the redevelopment plan. The next goal is to encourage development that increase employment and the tax base. And the next goal is to increase regional investment in the area. And the last one is to collaborate with private partners. Our objectives is to create a development project that may include retail, offices, and housing to create a mixed-use development. And this is a picture of the surrounding properties, which consist of commercial and residential properties. The current zoning is RDM2, Redevelopment Midtown Neighborhood Center, mixed use. And the current zoning for the other property on DeSoto Street is RDM6, Redevelopment Midtown Residential Preservation. And the proposed development options are mixed use for the structure that faces Dr. Bethune Boulevard as commercial/retail and multifamily residential, and for the property along DeSoto Street where the single-family home and the vacant lot is for a multifamily residential development. And then for the sake of having a slide to present to you, one of the concepts, and this would be not exact rendering, but something on this level for the property facing Dr. Bethune Boulevard. And at this point, I do not have an option for you, but it was a townhome concept, and we can get that to you all at some later date. The architect was not able to provide this document that you see in front of you, nor the concepts for the multifamily due to the hurricane. And that ends my presentation.
Okay. You have a speaker?
Yeah. I have one speaker, Ms. Ann Root.
Ann Ruby, 137 Park Avenue. I think this is another great addition to the development of the Midtown CRA. I've been going to those Midtown CRA meetings for years, and nothing seems to ever happen. And it is so great to see a proposed development like this on this area. You know, we have a college town that doesn't feel like a college town, and I think this property, this addition, will help that street become more vibrant. So I'm totally in favor of this one. It's not quite as sexy as the Campbell Hotel one, because there's, you know, not a lot of historic significance. But we need that kind of housing, and we need the new. Thank you.
That was my only speaker, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments?
Well, I'd like to say the one thing in particular that I do like about this project is that it's on the other side of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, on the other side of Bethune-Cookman, because that end needs some attention as well. We have really dedicated a lot of our attention towards that eastern side of the campus, where primarily there are more businesses, and that's where, you know, Bike Week and a lot of special events take place. But I think this is really going to help this. I really wish we could get that store that's on the corner to go with this in the near future, right there at Adams Street. I think that would be a coup for us. I totally agree with Ann. It is about time for Midtown, and I think that whatever we choose to do would be a great addition to that community.
My question is this market rate? Do we know, will this be market rate facilities?
Yeah.
Mayor, City Commission, Ken Thomas, Redevelopment Director. You mean the new development that will occur?
Yeah.
This will be a renovation, of course, with the existing building, but with our concepts that we're waiting on, we're hoping to do townhouses that will be new development.
So
we're going to tear down the sort of 5-bedroom, 1-bath construction, tear that down and build townhouses there.
Okay, still haven't answered.
And it'd be market rate, yes.
Thank you. That's
I'm
what
sorry,
looking for.
market
That's
rate,
okay.
yes.
And then,
Yeah. I was getting around to it.
okay. And then the other question is, are we sending an RFP for this? Is that the plan?
Yes.
And
yes.
do we have a time frame? Curious about that one.
ASAP, we really want to get this rolling. But I would realistically say probably January.
January for the RFP?
Or before, hopefully January, December, January, I would say.
Okay. And then with these properties, is there enough parking down there? I'm just curious. Is
You know, with
is that the extra lots?
Yeah, there's 20 parking spaces now existing that's current. So with the vacant lots, there's some room to put some more parking spaces. But when you tear down the duplex or the 2-story, you'll be able to build your townhouses there and some more on the vacant lot, and you can put some parking spaces there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And actually, that's enough parking if you got 20 spaces and 10 units. You don't even need that many parking units.
Yeah. Yes.
How do you differentiate between choosing townhomes and choosing like multifamily unit?
Well, we're looking at townhouses because it appears to be more attractive. And we didn't want to do a sort of apartment complex. The townhouses have balconies. The townhouses have sort of a residential look to it. And so townhomes that we've seen throughout the state and throughout other areas seem to be more attractive development. So our first attempt is to seek out, townhouse development, but when we put the RFP out, we're also going to give them the option to present something even greater. If townhouses are not a good fit for that site, will tell us what it would be.
Okay,
Can you try for December, the first week?
that would be nice.
Thanksgiving coming in December. So I'm trying to give our purchasing department a little time to gather all the documentation and prepare, because they have a list of projects that they're trying to put out on the street.
And also be mindful that as Michelle stated, we have not got the concepts back from the current architect. So, Ken may say all of a sudden, let's do something, but procurement may have other things going. So if we can get something really out, to be honest, by the first of the year, that gives us a time of getting information together.
Yeah.
So just, can we ask different questions about CRA or no? We're still in this, so we done with it? Can I ask a question? Oh, sorry. Uh-huh.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, we have any other questions? No other questions? All those in favor, let it be denoted by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, 7-0. Okay, hold your questions, you can come back.
Sure.
We have one more?
That's
That's it, I didn't see it.
Yep.
Okay. My bad. Okay. Now, that concludes the business of this meeting, so we will adjourn, but I will entertain comments or questions from the CRA.
So we have a list, as was mentioned earlier, of various properties that we're working with. Like, let's say the marina, we're doing some things there, some things on Beach Street, some things on Main Street, different parts of town, right? Could we get an update, just a written update, just sent to us if possible, if we're okay with that, on where we are with those things? Like, are we at the RFP? Are we at the movement phase? Where are we exactly?
They are actually finalizing a book and a workshop that will be presented to you all that has all of the information. As well, if you remember at a couple of meetings ago, the mayor had encouraged you, if you have any individual comments you want to share with the redevelopment group, to get with Mr. Thomas. So if you have something prior to the workshop that's going to be planned, I know Letitia and I are trying to figure out the right date, but you'll get a book probably next week that gives an update on all of the projects that have been part of the whole CRA process.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you, Ken. This concludes our CRA meeting. We will start our regularly scheduled commission meeting as quickly as we can, which is as soon as Ms. LaMagna says so.